Right.
All right, you should be good to go, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the February 25th, 2026 Town Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please, Noreen.
Commissioner King,
Here.
Commissioner Fox,
Yeah.
Commissioner Harvey,
Here.
Commissioner Minor,
Present.
Commissioner Pascarelli. Here. Chairman Sobieski.
Here.
Commissioner Woods,
Here.
Commissioner Hoffman,
Here.
Commissioner Rice Davis.
She may be joining later on.
Okay, you all set then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Approval of agenda, Paul.
No changes?
Okay, very good. Okay, round one, public participation for items not listed on the agenda. I want you to speak. Please come up. State your name and address for the record.
Go ahead, Rose.
Hi, Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I was having trouble hearing you in the beginning. There was a lot of background noise. Last night, the town manager stated at the end of the town council meeting that Newington had reached its 10% for affordable housing under state statute 8-30G. There's been some discussion on Facebook, and I was just wondering if perhaps the planner can explain what that means as far as applications coming in, and also explain that the way I understand it, just because we reach the 10% doesn't mean that we stop having affordable housing units put into any kind of apartments that may come before you. It's just that they can't file under the 830G. And I may be unclear in what I'm saying, so maybe if Paul can explain it a little bit better, if that's reasonable at the beginning of this meeting, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and I'd kind of like to set the record straight if you can. Thank you.
Paul?
Yep. So, Mr. Chairman, I have Jack Vizino here for me tonight from Shipman and Goodwin. He can provide a little more context as well. So I'll kind of hand it over to him.
Thank you. Paul, can you hear me okay online?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Great. So appreciate the question. It is accurate that there is the most recent iteration of the Department of Housing's 830G safe harbor list that was sent by email to towns. I think it was last week. I looked at the statute, the operative statute 830GK1 to review the plain language there, as well as the effective date of the notice. So while it's true that towns were made aware of who was on the list and who was not on the list as of last week, the effective date of the list is March 1st, 2026. So I didn't see anything in the statute to the contrary as to the list taking effect prior to its effective date. So when the statute is silent on that issue, typically you proceed with what the effective date of the notice is itself. So it's perfectly reasonable and likely, warranted under this situation specifically to go off of the March 1st, 2026 effective date. As to the second question about what impact Newington's presence on the prospective list has on development in town, your instinct's correct. This is not a notice to the town of Newington that further affordable housing development can't happen or shouldn't happen. In fact, the town should actively continue to review and consider affordable housing development applications, because the Department of Housing reviews which municipalities are included on this list on an annual basis. So that 10% is a reflection of the overall housing stock in the town of Newington, and that can be a moving target. So the town should consider additional applications in the future, and still should continue to operate its development with that 10% threshold in mind, year in and year out.
No one else online has their hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
Come on up here, Gail.
Gail Rodrigo, 21 Isabel Terrace, just to expand on that, I think maybe part of the question is, I would,
Talk us to the microphone.
oh, I would assume, we will still welcome affordable housing and hopefully push for developers to include some percentage of that, but in terms of the impact on zoning, what does that mean in terms of what we can or cannot use to approve or disapprove?
So again, I'll kind of answer from the SAS perspective. I think that is, a larger affordable housing type of discussion that I do plan to have with the town and the council kind of going forward, especially with the new housing bills, housing bill that was passed, and kind of what's the legislature is working on. Again, as far as that, the next year you get the next list that comes out, we work on that. But I think as far as what the town works for kind of going forward for housing is that consideration of future housing, of is the town going to be looking for a certain percentage on developments? And this is something that we would work on our zoning regulations, because we will be updating our zoning regulations for the 2 to 9 units in any commercial zone. That's something we, should consider as a town. Are any of these affordable? What percentages? But again, as far as that, the effective date of being March 1st, kind of moving forward on applications, they would be dealt with, not dealt with, they would be addressed basically on their merits with the zoning regulations in place.
But that does mean that because under 830G, you can't deny it except for proven safety, for the 3 things.
So I think we're all thinking about the same thing here. It effectively removes the application from the appeals process that 830G provides. So there's still, the opportunity for any denied applicant to appeal. You're just taken outside of the 830G framework. So in that instance, yes, the burden then shifts to the zoning commission to prove that there is no demonstrated impact on health, safety, wellness that would or that there is, that there is a demonstrated impact on health, safety, wellness that's demonstrated in the record before the zoning commission. So effectively moving forward, when you're on that 10% safe harbor list, you're sort of taken outside of that 830G framework, and it becomes more of your standard appeal for a denied application.
Okay, thank you. That's what I was looking for. Thanks.
Anyone else?
No one else online has their hand raised, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Remarks by commissioners. Commissioner Harpy, you start down there, please.
So what is the benefit of achieving the 10% to the town?
I can say from staff's perspective, again, it's just the lens that the application is looked at, whether it's, again, the shifting of the burden, it shifts the burden back to the applicant as far as them to prove, rather than again, under 830G, the burden is under the commission to prove that there are health and safety impacts, demonstrated health and safety impacts, when under a typical zoning framework, it's up to the applicant to prove that there aren't.
So how would a moratorium play into all of this?
So a moratorium is if you are on that safe harbor list, that you do not need a moratorium. A moratorium is for the communities who are not on the safe harbor list, who have achieved a certain amount of housing, who can then apply for it. So you do not need a moratorium of it if you is no longer applicable to the community.
So if this commission, for example, decided to emphasize senior housing, this gain to 10% or more than 10% would allow us to concentrate more on that. internally our decision
So
without any problem?
it would be for future zoning regulations or zoning regulations in place, that again, the commission can amend its zoning regulations if you choose to focus on that moving forward and change regulations to again, provide additional density bonuses, to provide additional flexible zoning for senior housing specifically. The commission can do that underneath its zoning regulations.
So the attorney had mentioned that we could still suffer a lawsuit just by an NED strike to do that? Was that so?
An application that is denied would then go through the typical zoning appeal process versus an 830G appeal, which is a different burden of proof. The burden shifts to the commission to prove affirmatively certain bona fide health safety concerns that is demonstrated in the record. But keep in mind that if the 10%, like I said at the start, is a moving target. So that's taken against the overall housing stock of the town of Newington. So let's say the next 2 years, there's a heightened emphasis on market rate housing. Well, and there's no development in terms of affordable housing. That will likely impact whether or not Newington is on future iterations of this list. This comes out on an annual basis. Department of Housing reviews each municipality's housing stock on an annual basis. Right now, the next year's affordable housing number for Newington's 10.3. So while the town's over the threshold, it's not that significantly over the threshold that the town could develop market rate and completely ignore affordable and expect that they're still going to be on this list in future years. Constantly moving target.
So are they using the number of housing units from 2025 or the number of housing units from the 2020 census?
It's so the regulation it's 830, it's regulation 830G2. It's taken from the housing stock from the preceding year through September of that year. So we're looking at the housing stock up to and including September of 2025.
But
So
I'll
the
add,
denominator in the calculation is the actual number of units as of September 30th, 2025.
so the denominator from that, if you look at the state's list, it is the 2020 census that they use. You'll see very specifically on that list. It is used on the 2020 census as the denominator from
Is that
year
what
over
you
year.
said? Or is that different from what you said?
Again, it's the difference, and we can, I think at a later date, if you would like a kind of a presentation, again, that's kind of the plan too, as we move forward with our housing stock for the whole town to discuss it, again, as we're discussing zoning regulations.
No, I meant, was your answer different from his answer?
I think we're saying the same thing. We're just, the stopping point is September of 2025. That's what you're reviewing.
Yep, for
your
the
housing stock.
affordable units that are
Yeah.
counted.
Okay, so you misunderstood my question.
So what's your question?
It's fine.
Okay.
Chris Minor has his hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
You all set, Rob?
Yeah.
Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to clarify, the last question that was just posed, is the data that is used is affordable housing stock based on September 2025, using the population data from the census of 2020. Is that a more accurate statement?
Yes, that's correct. From the most recent applicable census. So that you're going off the 2020 census.
Okay, so the housing stock is based
Yeah,
population.
that's what I
Yep, that's accurate. Yeah.
asked
Okay.
if they use the 2020
Yep.
census number or the number from 2020.
Yes.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chris. Any other questions from the commissioners? Okay. Public hearing.
So no other comments, so this would be,
Yeah.
yep, so Gia, if you wouldn't mind reading the application title, and then we're calling the
Okay.
public hearing back to order.
Read the procedure.
Mhm.
Procedures for public hearings. The order of proceedings at public hearings shall be as follows: convening by chairperson, reading of the notice by the commission secretary or commissioner designated by the chairperson to act in their stead, presentation by applicant, town planner report on the application. Persons wishing to speak in favor of the application?
You just took it away.
Oops, sorry.
I was-
I go back. Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to do it that quick. I started to bring it up.
I don't have it memorized.
Stop. Let me reshare. Jump the gun.
There, it's back, sorry.
Limited to 3 minutes per person. Persons wishing to speak in opposition to 3 minutes per person. Rebuttal by the applicant, limited to 5 minutes total. During a public hearing, it shall be within the discretion of the chairperson whether the time limitation should be varied slightly, provided the commission consents to any such variance by majority vote. Public hearing, petition TPC 2528, site plan for a 41-unit rental apartment home. Development under CGS, section 8-30G, affordable housing application at 103 Lewis Street in the PD Plan Development Zone. Applicant Premier Real Estate Services LLC, LLC. Owner Innate Investments LLC. Contact Andrew R. Moran Esquire.
All right, so now I will share the applicant's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. My name is Andrew Moran. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Hinckley Allen in Hartford, on behalf of Premier Real Estate Services 2 LLC, the owner applicant. Joining me tonight, same development team as the last public hearing. Mr. Villar, consulting engineer, is with us tonight on Zoom. Mr. Versteeg, our code compliance consultant, is participating by phone. Mr. Snow unfortunately cannot attend tonight. He has a scheduling conflicts. He's got to pick up his son, but he is available by phone if needed as well. A little bit about where we are tonight. We filed supplemental materials on January 26th. Then we filed second round of supplemental materials February 18th. The second supplemental materials package addresses questions and concerns from the commission, staff, and the fire chief that were raised during the January 28th public hearing. The purpose of tonight is to discuss the revisions to the plans that were made. And with that, I would like to turn over to my colleague, Mr. Daniel Ville, to go over how we revised our site plan. Mr. Dixon, if you could go to slide 2. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Dan Ville with Zubik Inc. of Rocky Hill, engineer in state of Connecticut, licensed on behalf of the applicant. So just to review the some of the requests that were made in the last meeting, we added a gated emergency access to the northeast corner of the property. So that would allow an emergency vehicle to exit onto Pascone Place rather than turn around in the hammerhead shown. So we added a mountable curb and a gate with a Knox box, which is a standard sort of key drop for emergency. So the fire chief can open that and get in and out without any issue. So that emergency access drive will be grass pavers, which are rated to support the heavy vehicles. And then we also added pervious pavers. Go ahead to the next slide, please. We added pervious pavers along the site driveway on the west side and the south side. It's a strip that allows a couple extra feet to support the outriggers and overturning of the emergency vehicles, so that there's less of a chance for them to, get stuck in the mud, that sort of thing. We also added, you'll see in blue on that same slide 3. Yeah, the blue areas are all suitable for snow storage, and those shapes shown add up to about a half an acre. We added some screening to the perimeter of the site. So on the south side, you'll see a line of arborvitae. On the west side, behind units 37 to 41, same thing, and a little bit along Pascone Place for the nearest patios. The crosswalk on Lewis Street has been added to the plans along with accessible ramps. So we're showing that the sidewalk will be extended to connect to existing sidewalk on the north side of Lewis Street. We've also made a few technical revisions to the drainage system in response to the other comments from staff on January 11th. I think that sums up our changes. With those changes in mind, I still hold the opinion that the development can be built without adverse impacts to health and public safety.
Thank you, Mr. Ville. Up next is Mr. Scott Hesketh with F.A. Hesketh Associates, who will discuss traffic.
Good evening. For the record, Scott Hesketh, licensed engineer at the firm of F.A. Hesketh and Associates. Our office is in East Granby, Connecticut. Based on comments received from the commission and staff at the last public hearing, we attempted to contact the Connecticut Transit Authority to talk to them about the location of the bus stop, assuming that the Price Chopper development shuts down. Apparently the bus route in that location goes through that shopping center, and we expect that if that shopping center closes, that the bus will be rerouted in some shape, fashion, or form. I was not able to get a hold of anybody there via email. I tried to call. I spoke to a receptionist who had no idea where to send me. So I do have emails out there, and hopefully they'll get back to us. The general rule with them is typically that if there's a demonstrated need for a bus stop in a particular area, they will evaluate to see whether or not a bus stop can be added and maintain their routing system. Obviously, if you have to stop at every house along the route, then you can only do one route a day. So they try to add as many routes or stops as they can and maintain as many routes as they can to serve as many people as possible. Reviewing the bus plans, the maps indicate that the bus currently uses both Lewis Street and Pascone Place, as well as going through the shopping center. So if they get rid of the shopping center stop, there's no reason why they couldn't add another stop and maintain their current routing. So we believe that it's possible to do. We just don't have an answer for you at this particular time. One of the other questions that we responded to was we did provide intersection site distance and stopping site distance plans. Prior to the previous meeting, we provided those plans for Lewis Street, where we had shown the intersection site distances out of the proposed site driveway at that location. We demonstrated that we have 445 feet in each direction at that proposed location, which is adequate for an 85th percentile speed of 40 miles per hour. Speed counts on that roadway were 37 miles per hour and 40 miles per hour, respectively. So we have the appropriate site distance at that location. We also showed the stopping site distances for vehicles entering or exiting the site driveway, as well as stopping site distances for the proposed crosswalk at that location. And all of those site distances can be provided with the roadway in its current configuration. What we didn't provide before the last public hearing was the same information for the driveway on Pascone Place. And the plans above you this evening demonstrate that those are intersection site distances and the site distances for the Pascone Place driveway. Again, we can maintain 445 feet looking to the right, coming out of that driveway. Looking to the left, we can see to the intersection of Lewis Street. There's really no need to see any farther than that because people coming across Lewis Street have to stop at a stop sign. So that's as most as we can provide in that location. The plans are based on the 85th percentile speeds, which we observed in the field. Again, on Lewis Street, again, the 85th percentile speeds were 37 and 40 miles per hour. Lewis Street is posted at 35 miles per hour, and Pascone Place is currently posted at 30 miles per hour. So we believe we have adequate sight distances for those instances. So based on the information provided in our traffic report, based on the intersection sight distances and our review of the pertinent information, it's my professional opinion that the proposed development can be built without an adverse impact to public health and safety. If the commission has any specific questions, I'll be happy to address them.
Any questions on commissioners? I have one, Scott. Is there going to be a rapid flashing sign on Lewis Street at all? Yeah, I think we had discussed that at one time.
Yes, we've been asked to provide at the proposed crosswalk. We will propose a RRFB, a rectangular rapid flashing beacon. Yes, that will be, we will propose that. We've got to prepare the detailed traffic signal plans for review. They're relatively simple, but still has to have, they still have to be reviewed. I believe they have to be approved by the state because they're a traffic control device.
That's correct.
If the town determines that, regular town encroachment permit is sufficient, then we'll be happy to do that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Commissioner Harper.
I'm not certain who from your group would want to respond to the letter that MDC sent you. Gets back in January on the sewer system.
Absolutely.
Respond to that issue?
Yes, that was a well-timed question. I was just about to move on to other different questions that the members of the commission asked. So to your point, the January 7th, 2026 MDC letter, noting that the MDC's demand for, so I believe your question related to the feasibility of connecting to the system, noting the sharp demand for payment, which as we understand is to offset illegal connections to the system. And frankly, we as the applicant are considering MDC's request and how to respond as well. Apparently their request is based on some new ordinance that went into effect at the start of January. So we're reviewing that. The purpose of the MDC letter, though, in this early zoning phase really is just to establish that, sewer and water is available to the site. We acknowledge that connecting to the MDC system, though, is required for this development to function. There's no doubt about that. So as stated in our memo, and as I'm going to discuss a little bit later on, we are going to propose an approval condition that the building must be connected to the MDC system.
Well, I would say for a public to know that this wasn't results of any sins you committed, but they want you to fix it. That's the impression that I got from it.
It struck me as a bizarre request as well, to frankly speaking, but
okay, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Another question that was a member of the commission requested we consider ways besides the newspaper to market affordable units. Mr. Dixon, could you go to the last slide, please? Thank you. The highlighted language there, we will market units via an online rental apartment referral website. 211 Connecticut's low income subsidized private rental housing website is an example. We'll also agree to post flyers in the town hall in the Lucy Robbins Wells Library. We've revised our affordability plan, and that segment that you see there is in that revised affordability plan. It's at tab 4 of our second supplemental materials package. Another request was regarding affordable units added after the release of the 2024 list. A member of the commission inquired about the number of units added since that list and for citations to support our conclusion that the 2024 list applies to our December 8th application package. We provided some citations in response to our conclusion. It's true that the 2025 list was released a few days ago. It shows Newington is at 10.31%. As your counsel pointed out, it's not effective till March 1st. But in any event, the 2024 list applies as the list that was in effect 3 months ago when our application was filed. One of the last questions I'd like to respond to is with respect to flow testing.
prior to the last public hearing, the fire chief requested we conduct flow testing. There's 2 fire hydrants near the property, and he wanted to know what the gallons per minute of the volume of the water coming out of those hydrants would be. The MDC performed the flow rate testing on February 12th. The results are at tab 6 of the second supplemental materials. Regulations or town ordinance requires a minimum flow rate standard. Ample flow rate is provided. The test results yielded almost 2,000 gallons per minute per hydrant. The last section before I wrap up proposed approval conditions. There's 3 approval conditions suggested at section 8 of our second supplemental materials package. They're included, very similar versions are included in the draft approval motion that staff just provided you. So there's a few others in there as well. We do not object to any of the other approval conditions recommended by staff. And finally, to conclude, we again reiterate our position that there's no public health or safety concerns justifying a denial here. If anything, we hope the commission feels that the applicant has actively listened to the commission staff's concerns and that we've revised our plans accordingly. And with that, I'd just like to once again respectfully request approval, and the whole team is here for questions if you have any.
Any questions from commissioners? I have a suggestion that maybe you should also put some flyers at the senior center. I didn't see that listed there, but that's maybe something that you could put in there.
If through you, Mr. Chair, if we can add that as an approval condition, if it's that would be no problem.
Would that be any? Okay, that's all, because I see you have the library in town hall. There are a lot of seniors who do we have a very active senior center over there. Just saying, put the applications or the forms on or whatever over there. It's only a suggestion.
Good recommendation. We accept that as an approval condition.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Just one thing. I was wondering if the engineer has anything that he would like to provide us with.
I didn't hear you.
Do you have any view of this in terms of things that you recommended that we should hear from you directly?
Well, I'm going to just simply offer my opinion that for an application to come into this commission as an 830G application, this level of intensity, in other words, the 40 or 41 units that is requested, is ideal for this particular site, because if it's almost zero impact to any other budding property, any other traffic consideration, or any other health and safety matter. So I'm in favor of this application in this location. It is far more preferable to me than somebody coming in with an 830G application for a 5-story, 100-unit apartment complex. So that's my opinion on this. I think the plans are well-founded.
Which is a neighbor of this project.
Well, you know, I'm thinking along the lines of some of the other more recent construction in town. I like this application for this site.
Okay, thank you, Chris.
Okay, any other questions from commissioners?
So, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I would like to kind of read those draft suggested motions into the record for the benefit of the commission and any of the public listening along as well. So staff did review the application, the most recent second submittal along with the site plans. And the recommendations from staff for conditions would be: 1, a final affordability plan shall be submitted prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy. The annual report to the Town Plan and Zoning Commission shall also include a report of the dispersion of the affordable units throughout the development. The affordable units shall be evenly distributed across the development as proposed by the applicant. 2, approval is conditional upon the owner obtaining permits from the Metropolitan District Commission, MDC, subject to the MDC's requirements for the water and sewer system for the buildings used for human occupancy. The water and sewer system shall be connected to the MDC system. 3, a crosswalk, accessible ramps, and appurtenant signage and markings shall be installed from the property connecting to the sidewalk on the north side of Lewis Street in the area shown on the current site plan, subject to the review and approval of the Town of Newington's local traffic authority. 4, illuminated rectangular rapid flashing beacons, RRFB, shall be installed adjacent to the proposed crosswalk crossing Lewis Street, subject to the approval of the Town of Newington's local traffic authority and any other necessary approvals. 5, the applicant's site plan for residential site development, 103 Lewis Street, project 24122, prepared by Zuvik and last revised in January 2026, shall be modified in the following manner, subject to review by the town planner and town engineer. A, incorporate the F.A. Hesketh and Associates ISD and SSD sheets dated 1/23/2026 into the final plan set. B, provide details for the accessible parking signposts and no parking signs and posts. C, provide a plan note that on-site refuse collection will be handled through individual containers and shall be administered by the property owner and or their agent. D, revise the pitch for the drainage pipe between CB3 and CB2 to meet the minimum 1% pitch. E, revise grading for the drainage pipe between CB7 and CB10 to provide a minimum 1% positive pitch. F, revise the detention system detail on sheet CB1 to specify perforated pipe. G, label cleanouts and inspection ports for the underground detention system and provide details of the same. H, revise the detention system notation on sheet UP1 to properly identify note 10. I, show all proposed fences on the plan with the pertinent details. J, revise the sidewalk shown on the landscape plan to reflect the revisions shown on the site plan. K, provide a complete detail for the typical paver system, typical paver system block system, and provide a call out on the plan. L, provide a complete detail for the emergency access drive to supplement the typical paver block system detail. This detail shall include a boundary edge, such as flush concrete curb as shown on detail sheet CD4. The applicant's engineer shall also confirm that the drive is designed with adequate subbase to support the weight of the fire truck design vehicle, which is 80,000 pounds as provided by the fire chief. M, evaluate the radii of the emergency access drive and revise to accommodate the turning maneuvers of the design vehicle. 6, the applicant shall revise the snow storage areas subject to the review and approval of the town engineer to address snow storage during extreme weather events. In addition, add a note to the plan that the emergency access drive shall be cleared as part of snow removal activities. 7, the applicant shall provide the contact information for the contractor responsible for erosion sedimentation control plan. The contact shall be provided along with the erosion control bond not less than 2 weeks prior to construction. And 8, the applicant shall sign a drainage agreement for the private connection into the town of Newington system and record same in the Newington land records. So those are the proposed conditions. Again, we do have a town engineer with tonight to ask questions, and I do want to report to you that I have spoken with the fire chief, and he provided some correspondence to me. Unfortunately, he could not be here tonight, but he did, he did review the flow testing of the hydrant, which was provided by the MDC at the rate of 1,917 gallons per minute, and the hydrants would meet their requirements for the fire department for fire protection. The emergency gate that was suggested as a change on the plan has been provided on the new site plan with a gate and knockbox lock. This will provide for better access for fire apparatus. Again, the only question would be to ensure that the road would be capable of bearing the weight of our heaviest truck, which is 80,000 pounds. And you wanted to ensure that was provided, and that is why that is in your in the condition specifically. The other change requested was the width of the road, which the applicant has agreed and changed the site plans to meet a request. And at this time, the applicant has made the necessary changes that the fire department has requested and feel that there are no outstanding issues related to the fire department. So again, we have been working with the fire chief, the applicant has as well. And I would like to just report to you that the conversation, unfortunately, he could not be here tonight, but he did want me to relay that to the commission.
Thank you, Paul. Any questions? Yeah. All right. Entertain a motion to,
Mr. Chairman, if I may, if you would like to call for public comment this time.
yeah, you're right. Sorry. Any public comment?
No one online has their hand raised at the moment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anybody in the room have any public comment? Okay.
I just recommend the normal, anyone speaking for and against, call it several times, just for clean record.
Okay, anyone speaking either for the application, please let us know. No one?
No one has their hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone wishing to speak against this application?
Again, no one online with their hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. Let's take a motion to close this, move it to old business for tonight.
Don't move, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you. We'll vote on this tonight. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next is the approval of the minutes from February 11th. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. New business, Paul?
None.
None. Okay, very good. I'll go to old business. Jim?
Petition TPC 25-28, site plan for a 41-unit rental apartment home development under CGS Section 8-30G, affordable housing application at 103 Lewis Street in the PD Plan Development Zone. Applicant Premier Real Estate Services 2 LLC. Owner Innate Investments LLC. Contact Andrew R. Moran Esquire. So I'll make the motion then. There's no further discussion, right?
Yep, again, typically you can make the motion, and then you'd have a second, and then you'd
Okay,
have
right.
discussion.
Second round
on
of
the
discussion,
motion.
okay.
Right.
You, and so I'll read all of the, okay. Hold on a second. Petition TPZ 25-28, site plan for a 41-unit rental apartment home development under CGS Section 8-30G, affordable housing application at 103 Lewis Street in the PD Plan Development Zone. Applicant Premier Real Estate Services 2 LLC. Owner Innate Investments LLC. Contact Andrew R. Moran Esquire. Motion to approve with conditions. Motion to approve application TPZ 2528 with the following conditions. 1, a final affordability plan shall be submitted prior to the issuance of certificate of occupancy. The annual report to the Town Planning and Zoning Commission shall also include a report of the dispersion of the affordable units throughout the development. The affordable units shall be evenly distributed across the development as proposed by the applicant. 2, approval is conditional upon the owner obtaining permits from the Metropolitan District Commission, MDC, subject to the MDC's requirements for the water and sewer system for the buildings used for human occupancy. The water and sewer system shall be connected to the MDC system. 3, a crosswalk, accessible ramps, and pertinent signage and markings shall be installed from the property connecting to the sidewalk on the north side of Lewis Street in the area shown on the current site plan, subject to the review and approval of the Town of Newington's local traffic authority. 4, illuminated rectangular rapid flashing beacons shall be installed adjacent to the proposed crosswalk crossing Lewis Street, subject to the approval of the Town of Newington's local traffic authority and any other necessary approvals. 5, the applicant's site plan for the residential site development, 103 Lewis Street, project 24122, prepared by Zuvik and last revised in January 2026, shall be modified in the following manner, subject to review by the town planner and town engineer. A, incorporate F.A. Hesketh and Associates ISD and SSD sheets dated 1/23/26 in the final plan set. B, provide details for the accessible parking signposts and no parking signs and posts. C, provide a plan note that on-site refuse collection will be handled through individual containers and shall be administered by the property owner and or their agent. D, revise the pitch for the drainage pipe between CB3 and to CB2 to meet the minimum 1% pitch. E, revise grading for the drainage pipe between CB7 to CB10 to provide a minimum 1% positive pitch. F, revise the detention system detail on sheet CD1 to specify perforated pipe. G, label cleanouts and inspection ports for the underground detentions system and provide details of the same. H, revise the detention system notation on sheet UP1 to properly identify note 10. I, show all proposed fences on the plan with pertinent details. J, revise the sidewalk shown on the landscape plan to reflect the revisions shown on the site plan. K, provide a complete detail for the typical paver system, block system, and provide a call out on the plan. L, provide a complete detail of the emergency access drive to supplement the typical paver system block detail. This detail shall include a boundary edge, such as a flush concrete curb as shown on detail sheet CD-4. The applicant's engineer shall also confirm that the drive is designed with adequate subbase to support the weight of the fire truck designed vehicle, 80,000 pounds. M, evaluate the radii of the emergency access drive and revise to accommodate the turning maneuvers of the design vehicle. 6, the applicant shall revise the snow storage areas subject to the review and approval of the town engineer to address snow storage during extreme weather events. In addition, add a note to the plan that the emergency access drive shall be cleared as part of snow removal activities. 7, the applicant shall provide the contact information for the contractor responsible for the erosion and sedimentation control plan. The contact shall be provided along with the erosion control bond not less than 2 weeks prior to construction. 8, the applicant shall sign a drainage agreement for the private connection into the town of Newington system and record same in the Newington land records. Reasons for the approval: the applicant's affordable housing application and site plan with modifications proposed through the close of the public hearing and as set forth above meets the criteria for approval of an affordable housing application submitted under CGS section 8-30G.
Second,
Mr. Chairman,
I'm sorry.
just second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on it? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? It passes unanimously. You. Okay. Petitions for scheduling, Paul?
None.
Town planners report.
Well, seeing as I was just returning from vacation, I do not have too much for you tonight, other than noting that we will be moving forward with, again, the zoning revisions, as noted earlier during public comment for the 2 to 9 units in commercial zones. This will be an interesting discussion for the commission and with the community as well. I expect a lot of discussion relating to how our commercial areas are constructed, the intensity of those commercial areas, and what areas are kind of concerns for residences. So again, this is a new requirement for us. It's something that I have not seen before, but it's something that I look forward to working with commission on.
Glad you had a great vacation, Paul. You earned it. Well deserved. Thank you. Communications, none?
None.
Okay, public hearing, second round. Anyone wishing to speak on anything that's not on the agenda, or that was not on the agenda, rather?
One hand raised for public participation.
Go ahead, Rose.
Hi, Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. I think my hearing is going. Did you just call for public hearing or public participation?
Public participation, Ms. Lyons.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to thank Commissioner Minor for asking to clarify how the 10% is arrived at. I was always of the understanding that it was the 2020 census was used and that the current assisted housing stock was used. So there's a gap in between, and that's what I was trying to get at and forgot to mention earlier, that we have to keep looking at this affordable housing, because by 2030, when the next census is done, things are going to be different. It's something that I am very passionate about, because having been a single parent 30 years ago, I would have loved to have seen some housing in Newington like we're having here now. So I'll be watching, and I hope that when you go to the town council Paul, that you can explain to them exactly what this is all about, because like I say, I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Thank you very much.
Anyone else?
No one else online with their hand raised, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, remarks by commissioners. And remarks by the commissioners. Commissioner Harpy.
Well, I think an issue that we'll have to look at is our strategy of where we want to go on housing. And certainly, there is a report that you would submit it to us a while ago on the center of town where there was a report about a need for senior housing. So economics aside, but I think we need to develop that. And I would be my preference, and I think I could speak for a number of people, that they would rather have this affordable multiple housing than 2 to 9 units sitting on a piece of land that just makes it look like a shanty type of situation. I just can't conceive of what they were thinking about the legislature when they put these things together. Well, I'll stop there. I could say a lot more, but I'll stop there.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? Any other commissioners?
I think it would be March 1st, 2032 would be the next time we'd be at risk of being under 10%. Because if the census is conducted in 2030, it's not published until after September 30th, 2030. Then it wouldn't be used until September 30th, 2031. And then those lists aren't published till March 1st, 2032. So we should still build affordable housing, but like, it's not going to be 2 years where we're back under 10%. So we have time to build it properly.
Yep, I think.
But I am in favor of senior housing for sure, affordable housing. Respectfully, I do think some of the middle housing is a good idea. I think that does make a lot of sense, using the commercial spaces instead of
Well, if we give them
undeveloped
some of
land.
those motels, I'll agree.
Oh, there we go. There. We can work towards that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Minor, Commissioner Fox,
I'm good.
Commissioner Woods?
I'm all set, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Also.
Okay. My closing remarks. Thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. And have a good night and stay warm. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, second. All right, all in favor?
Bye.
Thank you.
This is